I don't know about you guys, but I have seen some absurd ways to get sublimation results that you want. And honestly, I'm a little confused about it. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about all of these different ways that you can sublimate and different things you can do to get the results that you want and really see if they work. If you are new here, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can get notified every time we get crafty. Now, let's go ahead and talk about everything that I have here on the table. So first of all, the first thing that really confuses me that I have seen is people sublimating in an air fryer. Now, I know that this, with the right techniques, I'm sure this would work, but I'm still confused about it. I've still never done it. Currently, I have the air fryer preheating right now because I did read in the instructions in ours that we do have to preheat this. So we're gonna test it out and we're gonna see, does this really work? The next thing that I'm going to test is this pancake griddle. Now, this is gonna be more for our friends that want to do the DTF with their sublimation printer. And what it does is you're supposedly supposed to be able to take your DTF print that is covered with the plastic adhesive, lay it down on the griddle, and the griddle is supposed to heat it up and cook it. Not sure if that works. I've never done it, but we're gonna try it. And finally, the last thing that we're gonna try, hairspray. I mean, I love me some good hairspray, but we're gonna try it. People say that you can sublimate with this stuff. I'm a little confused about it. I've seen it used on toilet paper to make gag gifts. Once again, super confused. We're gonna test it out together. Now, let's go ahead and get started. The first one that we're gonna do is we are going to do the convection oven. Now, I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way. We're gonna bring the convection oven in. I'm just gonna set this down here for right now. And we are gonna talk about everything that you need for this. So first up, you are gonna need some type of sublimation mug. This is just the Cricut brand mug. We are gonna use one of these. They have them on Amazon. Honestly though, if you're buying in bulk, we've done the math, and really and truly the Cricut brand gives us the most bang for our buck. So we normally buy those in bulk, but you do need your sublimation mug. You need heat tape, you need your little sublimation design, you do need a heat resistant glove, something to cut our design out with, and the most important thing that you need with this is you need some way to apply pressure, because sublimation really works best with heat plus pressure. You can see with the air fryer, there's not gonna be a way that this actually applies pressure to our design. So you do have to have something that applies pressure, whether that be a silicone wrap for your mug or wine tumbler or whatever you put in your air fryer, or you can use shrink wrap that is specifically made for sublimation. Now, not all shrink wrap is. Let me be the first to let you know that, because I almost caught our convection oven on fire using shrink wrap that was not made for sublimation. So be clear, make sure you use correct shrink wrap. All we're gonna do, we have started preheating our convection oven. What I'm gonna do, I'm just going to prep my design. We're just gonna cut this out. I'm gonna cut some extra off of it just to be on the safe side. Now, if you want to, you can do a quick lint roll over top of that. I don't think I am going to today, because I did wipe it pretty clean. So what I'm doing is I'm just applying my design where I want it, and I'm going to tape it down first, just like this, just to make sure that it stays down on our mug. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a piece of butcher's paper, and I'm just going to, and you don't have to do it all the way across. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around there. I am going to trim the top and the bottom. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I don't want there to be any transfer onto the silicone. because you can get transfer and it could transfer to your next design. So I just want to make sure that does not happen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my silicone wrap and I am just going to place this across there, and what that does is that adds pressure to our mug. You will, if you have a full wrap or if you have a double-sided design, you will need to flip it halfway through. We are only doing it on one side, on this side right here, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna put this in there starting out. I think I'm gonna do it for about 5 minutes. And we'll check it about halfway through. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead, open this up, place this down inside, close that back up, and then we're going to move our timer to right at 5 minutes. Another thing you do need to note is the temperature that I am sublimating this at is around 385, 400 degrees. If you have been in the sublimation world, you know that ceramics do take a little bit of a higher temperature and a little bit more time. So once again, I think I've got this closer to the 400 degrees. We'll say 385 to 400, and I'm starting with 5 minutes, and then we're gonna check it and see. While that is going, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my next one that I am gonna be testing because I'm super confused about it, and that is our toilet paper with the hairspray. Now, I've seen a couple people do these different ways, so we're just going to go with it. First of all, I do have my heat press set at 380 degrees. What I've seen people do is just take the hairspray and give this a very light spray just on where they're planning on sublimating. Now, what I have seen is people will sublimate on this side. These are for like gag gifts, and then once you sublimate on that, you can put it in like a little cellophane wrapper for like white elephant gifts around Christmas time, things like that. So we are going to test it out. Now, it feels like there's not really a lot on there. I'm gonna maybe give it a little bit more. Okay, now we're gonna let that dry, and as that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off our design. This says, "You're a super pooper dad." Super cute. And now what we're gonna do is we are just going to place that down on that sheet and add just a little bit of heat resistant tape just to help and see, just to help keep this down on our toilet paper. Now, before I press this, I do think we're getting close to time here, and I want to check this, so I'm gonna pull this out, and I'm gonna get this glove first, and I'm gonna lay it on the bottom of my table so that it doesn't there we go. It looks like it needs a little bit longer time. You can see here it's like more through, but it's not over here. So I'm gonna put this back together. I'm just going to hook these back together through this handle like that. Place it back in here, and we're going to let it go a little while longer. We'll crank up the minutes. We're gonna do it 2 more minutes, and then we'll check it again. So in that 2 minutes, what we can do is go ahead and press our toilet paper. So I am laying this down flat right here. I am gonna have to hold this steady, just so, because I've seen people press the whole roll, and I've seen people press it this way. I think this way is my favorite. I'm just grabbing some butcher's paper. I do have some butcher's paper on the bottom, and placing some here like this. Once again, we are set at 380 degrees, and I'm going to be pressing this for about 50 seconds. Okay, so I guess where I sprayed a little bit of hairspray on the outside, it's sticking to this paper, so we're gonna pull that off. It's looking like it did it. I mean, I can see it. I can see the transfer on the butcher's paper. Let's see if we can get it off here. honestly, I mean, I'm kind of impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you are doing this as a gag gift, oh, and there's our timer. So let's go ahead and stop our timer. Not bad. I don't hate it. Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to our, oh no, I almost messed up. Let's go back over here. Let's grab our heat resistant glove. I'll lay that down there. Grab this one in case I need it. Move the phone out of the way. Beautiful. Let's lay it on here, and I will bring it over here so you guys can see it a little bit better. Do you see now how you can automatically see the design through this silicone sleeve now? That right there is telling me that it's probably sublimated pretty well, but we're gonna test it and see how it did. Now, if you want to, you can dunk this in some ice water to stop the sublimation process, but it's not 100% necessary, but it is something that you can do to help. I will say you need some really good heat resistant gloves when you are messing with ceramics. These are not as good as this one is, so that's why I'm moving my hand around. I mean, once again, I'm pretty impressed. Now, there is some ghosting along the top. That could be because I took it out the first time, but otherwise, I'm not mad at it. I'm absolutely not mad at it. Now, the biggest downfall is look at the size of this air fryer basket. You're not gonna be able to fit a lot in this. So unless you find one that is at a yard sale that you don't plan on actually putting food on for a couple dollars, like, I don't think I would go out and buy a brand new air fryer. I don't think it is worth it to go out and buy a new one, but if you catch one on at a yard sale, at a thrift store, whatever, I mean, I think it works. It's definitely better than spending $200 on a mug press. But if we're talking air fryers, y'all, a convection oven, a little tabletop convection oven and an air fryer, they truly do the same thing. What it does is it uses a fan to circulate the heat around the food. An air fryer may be a tad bit faster, but it normally isn't. I mean, it worked. I'm not as confused as I was beforehand, but like I said, I still think that your best bet is to get a tabletop convection oven versus an air fryer if you plan on doing more than mugs. Okay, y'all, the very last thing that we are testing that I was confused about before this video is testing the Pancake Griddle to cook the plastic powder that turns into adhesive on DTF if you are printing from your sublimation printer. Now, if you are confused about what DTF is, let's talk about it real quick while our griddle is heating up. So what you can do is you can purchase DTF film and you can run it through your sublimation printer. You will then also have to purchase DTF powder, and as soon as it comes out of your printer, you then run it through, and let me show you what I mean real quick. So the ink will be wet on this film. You then run it through a bin full of this plastic powder that once heated adheres to the ink. It takes the ink and it creates an adhesive. So it's not going to stick to a shirt automatically. You do have to quote unquote cook it. Now, in years past, what we have done is we have put it under our heat press and just hovered our heat press over, and that cooks it. But I have seen some people take a pancake griddle and cook it that way. So we're going to do that today. I did not really watch anything to see exactly how hot it should be. I think your best bet is always start at a lower temperature, and if that doesn't work, heat it up because you don't want it too hot to begin with. So right now, I have it set to around 270, and we're gonna test it that way. So we'll go overhead. What I saw is people just laying it down. Oh, do you see it cooking like immediately over here? Look at this, whoop, that might be a little warm. Okay, so let's bump it on down to about 220, but it's cooking it very, very fast. Now, I will say it does have to touch the griddle. Do you all see that down there? How it's turning that? Oh, snap. Okay, okay. I'm not mad at it. Let me move this out of the way real quick. What I am going to do before I keep going, I'm gonna cut off this excess because parts of this is not touching the griddle. So I am just going to move that. We'll bring this back in. Now, we need to do the top portion. Watch how it turns. You can see it. Honestly, I'm speechless right now. I'm very speechless. And that doesn't happen very often. Wow. I mean, yeah, it worked, and it worked a lot faster. Whoop. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Now this is ready to press. Obviously, we've been cooking some pancakes on this griddle before. You can see we've got a little bit of grease up here at the top. We can just cut that off. Just like that. And beautiful. Now, one thing I do want to say with DTF, with your sublimation printer, sometimes your printer will drag through. Do you all see, like right through here, how this is kind of the ink kind of drug? If this happens to you, I suggest leaving it alone until after you cook it, and then after you quote unquote cook it, you can just run your fingernail over that, and it doesn't smear anything, and you can just scratch that off, like the pieces that you don't want. Just scratch it off. You don't need it, and that way it's not going to transfer onto your shirt. Now, other than that, you are ready to take this, put it on a shirt, and press it. If you all are curious on exactly how to do that whole process from beginning to end, we do have lots of tutorials on that on our channel. I will link a video down below for you guys. But y'all, every single one of these, I'm gonna be real honest, I did not think were gonna work. I thought I was gonna at least have one fail. I had 0 fails. Highly impressed. Obviously, you can use hairspray from the Dollar Tree to sublimate a little gag gift on some toilet paper. You can use your pancake griddle to cook your DTF powder, and you can use an air fryer plus some type of wrap on a mug to sublimate a cup. I mean, y'all, who would have thought? If you have enjoyed this video, once again, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn more about sublimation and take yourself from a sublimation beginner to a sublimation pro, make sure you check out that first link down below with Maker's Gonna Sublimate. This is a program that we have spent hours and hours testing and really getting it right. Even if you do not have a single thing, but you know that you want to start your sublimation journey, we highly suggest going ahead and getting that course, because we're gonna walk you hand in hand from choosing your printer, picking out which ink you want to marry, all the way through becoming a sublimation pro. So make sure you click that link down below. And if you all have any other wild harebrained tips that you do when it comes to sublimation, I would love to hear that in the comments. Let me know what you do that might be a little bit different to make sure that you get perfect sublimation results every time. I'll see you guys in the next one.